Hello everybody, this is Laarsan. This is my first YouTube video as a part-time hobbyist gamer and musician. So please bear with me if the quality is not up to the mark. But I really wanted to talk about how I got 30 million kills as a VIP 14 player in Rise of Kingdoms. This is a very niche kind of community in the gaming world, so there's a lot of devoted players that have been playing for a long time, as well as new players that find themselves hooked now. So this kind of content really is the type that I used to look for, and there's sadly not enough of it online on the internet. So I hope that this video finds you well and that you enjoy it. Do consider subscribing and liking it. It would mean a lot to me, especially if you want me to keep posting occasional content. Yeah, just drop a like in there and let me know what you think. Now, as you can see in this KvK, we're not doing so good. We were the winning camp, and we fought really hard. We were able to lock an Imperium Kingdom in 2-1-33, but now we're just kind of chilling and farming in Zone 4. That's mainly because we got betrayed by our ex-allies. They were not getting any fights, and they decided to betray us and fight us when we already had fought Imperium for a week. So our leadership told us not to fight, go to Zone 4, not give them the DKP, so they don't have a claim for the Zig. So anyways, I'm not going to get into the politics. Back to the topic, we're going to talk about the commander pairings that I used, the equipment that I had on this account, inscriptions, armaments, the resource and speed up usage, and the type of fighting style that I have, which really worked for me. Moving on. The most important thing that I can't stress enough on is you gotta have farms, man. To be able to fight at this level and get 30 million kills, you need to farm a lot in off-season and during KvK. I have 4 farms for this account, and keep in mind, I am an experienced player. This is not my only account, but it is one very dear to me, and I had this really selfish goal to get really good stats on it and turn it into a fighter. So the key for that is to farm a lot when you're not in KvK, gather enough resources. I spent maybe, I would say, about 6 billion food, maybe 2 billion wood, 4 billion stone, and at least 2.5 billion gold to achieve this. Was it the most efficient? Probably not, but that's also because I don't like to fight for cheap kills. I used 4 marches most of the time, and they had unmaxed commanders with a lot of purple gear and even blue gear in it. And the reason for that is that I think that I have enough knowledge to trust myself in the murder ball to be able to use my rage bar well and turn when I need to, not get swarmed so much. But yeah, it did hurt, especially considering the fact that when you're VIP 14, you do not have the 50% hospital recovery speed. So I would literally have 50% of my speed ups if I had, done this after being VIP 15. But again, this is a game and you all have goals. It's good to meet them. For me personally, time efficiency is the most important thing here. Rock is one of the few games that really requires you to play at its time and not yours, as I mentioned. And if you're just always in the game, you're going to burn out real fast. So as you can see, ignore the T1 siege. I did take a few rallies, so I quickly decided to kill off all my T1 siege. But the goal was never to really get a lot of deads in this KvK. I just wanted those 30 million kills and do my best on the field. Secondly, other than farming and preparing for this, you got to do your honor. The more barbarians that you hit, the more speed ups you get, materials, and lots of good stuff. And as you see, we're still the top 1 ranked camp and coalition in this KvK, despite being in Zone 4. That'll probably change because they're going to take the buffs and everything, but we had some really good fights, man, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm very, very satisfied with how this KvK had some great fights, but at the same time, it is bittersweet every time people get passionate in this game. There's betrayals, there's politics. Just don't let it get to you, man. Play the game for fun. Have some goals set for yourself. And if you're like me, you want to get a lot of KP on accounts that don't look like they could get it, this video is for you. Yeah, back to the topic. Sorry, got a bit distracted. Farming and then honor. Those are the most important things. Other than that, if you look at my commanders, I had Nevsky Joan. I prefer using Joan as the primary because she's faster, I believe. And I had Saladin with Mina. And it's a pretty decent march when you have the double relic on Mina. Quite usable. Even though it's all single target, it did well enough for me. But the main source of most of my kills was definitely Joan and Nevsky. Then the third march that I used, not so much, but mainly as like a spare march, was Artemisia with Boudica. The reason why Artemisia is the primary is because my Boudica doesn't have enough gold stars to get to level 60 yet. So the defense tree isn't so bad, but this is definitely the march that hurt the most. Moving on, I had Sepio with Mehmed. This is a highly recommended march. It's really good, quite underrated, especially when you have the double relic on, and my CPU is just 5511, man. So it just goes to show you how good of an investment he is, and I would recommend that everybody gets him to that point because he's definitely worth it. Lots of big damage, good march speed, and I'm a cav main on this account, right? So I like to see my infantry keep up with my cavs, so yeah, it was good. Other than that, I also experimented with some other pairings. I tried for like these ones, but they didn't really work for me. I'm not really going to suggest or advise them, except for maybe CPU and Athelflaed. Underrated march, man. I believe is just as good as the Mammoth, and you get more march speed, so it's definitely faster, and there's more of a AoE radius with Athelflaed. If you're a new SSC player, I would really recommend using Athelflaed in your lineup. She's really good. So the gear that I had, it's nothing special. I have no crits on this account. I got pretty unlucky and no SOC accessories or any golden accessories really. I'm just waiting to craft them and hoarding the materials. But I hope that looking at my gear, this is my best march, right? So I hope that looking at my gear shows you that you don't need to be like a huge whale with max tech to be able to get this kind of, KP in a KvK that's Strife in Seed A and you have Imperium Kingdoms fighting against you. You just have to be smart, you have to be prepared, and you'll get there. These are my armaments and inscriptions. Nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done. I was never so lucky with armaments, unfortunately, on all of my accounts. They're just trash, Nevsky, I don't have him as the primary, so Saladin, this gear, honestly, it's a very budget build, but it is so effective, man. If you want to make a cav gear fast, like I just suggest go follow this to the dot, and you're gonna be you're gonna be happy. You'll get kills. The inscriptions and armaments here are also pretty trash. Nothing special. There's a few things that you should consider about inscriptions and armaments, though. You should never really use any other formation than wedge, because you need skill damage, and that's the meta. I have my infantry gear on Richard just because I was barbing with him, chaining. Otherwise, I use it on CPO. And as you can see, march speed is very important to me. I like my inf to keep up with the cavs, so this was the build that I used. And it was very effective. I would definitely recommend it if you don't have enough materials or, you don't have the gems to get the gear. This is quite a budget build. I've tried to build as budget-friendly and effective of a murder ball as I could. Here you can see the armaments and inscription. Nothing more than that. Not bad, not great. It is what it is. So, yeah, CPU is a great commander. Moving forward, Artemisia. This is probably my worst gear. As you can see, there's no crit on the purple gear as well because I recently crafted it just for this KvK. But I really only used her when we needed the field badly and when I was going to swarm something. But surprisingly, I got really good and archer armaments and inscriptions. This is some good stuff, I really like this inscription because everybody loves to target archers and all damage decreased when you're surrounded. It's pretty useful. It was good. I had fun with it, and I hope that I can get the Boudica up to 5551 and CPU as well as my next investments. I can't work ZGL with Artemisia because he does self-damage when she self-silences. So that is why I did not invest in ZGL yet on this account. But I would recommend everybody else definitely should. The dude is a monster. The resources left here, there's not much left, as you can see. I use a lot. I already mentioned in this video that there were points in the game where I had to ask people, and I'd like to give a shout out to all those that supported me. I got at least 500 million of each from people, except for gold, of course. And yeah, it wasn't easy, you know. Like, there are points where you burn out and there's like a 2 day long war. You're just like camped there, you bubble and try to get a nap for 2 hours. I did that while balancing my work life, and would I recommend it? No. The speed ups, it's gonna take some time to recover. As I mentioned, if I did this, if I was VIP 14, this would look a lot better. But yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. As you can see, there's not really that. I would say you can recover between KvKs in maybe 2 to 3 months and get enough speed ups to get at least 15 million kills. Anybody can do that if you're active, if you barb chain. Those are the most important things. You gotta barb chain like anything. If you don't barb chain, you're not going to be successful. That's just the nature of the game. There's a lot of PvE content that you got to do as a means to prepare for KvK and PvP. Don't engage in the other stuff. Like, if you're not barb chaining and you're just like online chatting people all the time, like, yeah, the social side of the game is what keeps people in the game. Me as well. I have a really tight group, but you gotta fight, you know. That's the point of SOC. A lot of players just quit rock when they enter SOC because the game becomes really demanding. If you can't balance it in your real life, you're right, like, one should quit because the game becomes pretty toxic at that point. My technology, as you can see, nothing special at all. I did a lot of barb chaining and I was able to get to this point, and I did buy the 50% crystal speed bundle. As a low spender, there's not much that I buy. I'm like a super, super low spender here on this account. As I said, it's hard to spend on multiple accounts and get enough rewards. So I try to keep it as curtailed as possible. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just wasting money, you know. So I started this KvK with maybe 500 million kill points, just above that. And now I'm at just above 1 billion. This is really nice to see because my goal was quite selfish. As I said, I wanted this account to look like a fighter. I took a lot of like unnecessary, like, you know, I was having fun. If you're gonna fight in KvK, get 30 million kills. It's not just about like, oh, you can't get swarmed. You gotta not take rallies. You gotta not, you know, fight these people like with the 7 marches. Just have fun, man. As you can see, I took some city rallies. I rallied some cities and some objectives as well, whenever I could. There comes a point where in KvK, a lot of people get burnt out and you see the activity diminish in the kingdom. So it's really important that if you're online and even if you have like a decent set of gear or anything, you can make a good contribution. So it's not just about meeting your own selfish goals. You got to help the kingdom. That's the reason why you fight. You want to work as a team and find success together. So yeah, I can't really give any other like concrete advice and when it comes to like mentality in the game, because everyone's different. They all have their styles of play. But this mode, when you're in dot mode, it's super useful during murder ball fights. The lag in SOC is insane. When you zoom out and you fight like this, yeah, you don't get to see what you're targeting, but it's super helpful. So I would highly suggest that you try it and you keep the side tab on at all times and you really watch your march. If you want to fight with just one march, 100% I would recommend John Nevsky or Nevsky Joan, however you prefer to play it. It's a KP killing machine. I got about 10 million kills just from my John and Nevsky. Both of them got 10 million kills this KvK. I unlocked Joan and she was at no kills when this KvK started. So this is all from this KvK, and the KvK still has 20 days left. Albeit we're not fighting anymore, but it's quite impressive considering that, you know, she's just one commander. And it took my Saladin, which I've been using for the past 6 months on this account, like 3 KvKs to get there. So yeah, Nevsky had about 2 million kills already, so he made 10 million kills as well. This combo is sick, man. I can't wait to test Boudica ZGL on my other accounts eventually, and maybe make a video about that too. CPO, I got him to 5511 quite later on, so I was avoiding using him as much as I can, but that's why his kill count is a bit low, but he's a really good commander, and I would recommend that everybody invest in him. It's embarrassing, but this is kind of the first time I'm really using CPU. I was quite a dedicated Cav main, so as you can see, the Mina as well. He's been fighting since KvK 2 on this account. He has a good amount of kills. Artemisia, unfortunately, she's just not up to par as a primary commander, in my opinion. I know Chizgul and a lot of other guys recommend she's still a good investment, but I wouldn't go anywhere near her unless you're just a fan, you know, and you really like the commander as a hero. That's why I have her. Yeah. AoE barb chaining, man, I can't really stress enough on it. You gotta do this nonstop. When you're AFK in the game, don't play the game for hours straight. Time efficiency is the most important thing to avoid burnout. Just hit something when you log in for 5 minutes, place it in a way that it's gonna kill 3 barbarians at a time. I think that's the most efficient thing. And just go away for a bit. Log in again 30, 40 minutes later and do the same. This shit really adds up over time, and there's a F2P YouTuber, 12-inch PvPenis, that I really like to watch his videos because I'm not going to comment on, like, you know, whether I agree with everything he says or not, but he's absolutely right to talk about how barb chaining is the most important thing in SOC. The dude's F2P and he's won Zenith, MGEs, he's gotten like 1 billion kill points in his last KvK. So that's just like the next step that you can do. And he claims that he only plays for 3 hours a day and not consistently as like in one go, but like I said, to balance it out. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's super important to have a balanced life, you know, give time to a lot of other things. And if you're just always playing rock, you're just not going to enjoy it. That's just how it is. So as you can see, you get gems like just like that. Within like a minute, we get some gems, you get your healing speeds, a lot of goodies, you know. Just do this and you will have enough to fight to get at least 15 million kills every KvK, even if you're not spending. AP is probably the most important resource in the game, and you can definitely consider gemming it when you run out of it. I'm pretty sure that I'm always below maybe 100k AP because I'm not always online, but like I said, when I'm on, of course I chat with my friends, I have a good time, but this is what I'm doing because I like to be competitive as a fighter in the game on this account. So yeah, to be honest, I would not recommend that you try to achieve 30 million kills in a KvK until you're VIP 15. That shit really does damage your account. But yeah, if you want to, if you're crazy like me, then go for it. Excuse the notifications here. I'm just recording this video on my phone. I do have a better setup in place. So if you find these tips useful and helpful, like and subscribe, as I said, and I will definitely work on producing more quality content. So with that said, I'd like to end this video. Be proud of the effort that you make in the game if you've been playing until SOC and you still find yourself playing, because most people quit at that point. It's the little things that really keep you playing, like the people. You need a good group. It's super important to me, at least. There's like a game family that you have that you can do voice chats with on Discord, like plan strategies with, have fun together, like stay away from the noise and politics and just focus on these in-game goals and everything will be great. So that's like the final practical kind of advice that I think I can share. And yeah, man, I'll see you next time. Oh, and before we go, I do want to comment on this inscription. It's really OP, but I would not recommend spending a coin on it unless you have an armament that is above like all max stats and golden, like if you have 3% stats on each for that troop type, then it's worth it. But otherwise, I think you're better off investing in the KvK gear. I'm personally going to go for the Pride of the Khan because I already have a golden set helm on this account and I can just throw that on the Saladin and replace the Khan helm with Anjan. So there's a lot of good stuff in the KvK shop. The Twilight Fall City skin, definitely a must-have if you're an open field fighter. And yeah, other than that, customize your account as you choose. There's a lot of interesting ways to play. On another account, I have this skill damage nuker build where I know that people don't really advise that you get the accessory for skill damage, but I have a lot of skill damage on every march over there because that accessory is on at least 3 marches. And I'd like to give a special shout out to the Kingdom 1719 as well. It's been an honor and a pleasure fighting with you guys. You're absolute warriors on the field. And I hope we can do it again. Whatever is left of this KvK, I'm sure there's going to be some cheap KP kills that people are trying to go for. But I think my work is done. And I hope that I get to encourage people to try to achieve these goals too. Take care and goodbye.